I was working on the waterfalls July 15th. And then the day after that, July 16th, was when I started working on um, any part of the water. So I have been working on that since the 16th of July. So, yeah, like a month pretty much. That's exactly how long I've been working on it. And I've taken ergonomic my ass, yeah. Well, it depends. Maybe he got like one of those rocking gaming chairs that sit on the floor and then have stupid ass speakers and stuff. Or maybe he's got that chair from Grandma's Boy and he can just sit there. Does he also wear a trench coat and like walk around and pretend he's in the Matrix? He is kind of hipster sometimes, yeah. All right. You might wanna hose off the chair before you use it, then, Lucas, because you never know what that guy's been doing in that chair. Just you know, words to think about. All right, I'm gonna print out here the min and max magnitude. All right, so this will be max mag and min mag. He is very focused on things being clean and proper. Oh no. It's been 24 days since you did any work on the water itself? Yeah. Yeah, I keep a work journal on pretty much everything I do, so I can kind of look back and see what's going on. It's like back an entire month ago, I was working on the Sky Sphere. So it's been a while since I started. I switched over, yeah, like Bitey Crawling was on like June 22nd. And then we switched from like actually implementing gameplay and abilities to doing graphic stuff. So it's been since the end of June, pretty much. Is this stream gonna devolve into just like a whole bunch of like anime porn references? Because that's exactly what I was thinking would happen when I started streaming. All right, the max mag is 0.1 and the min mag is -1. What? All right. Well, I guess that's true. So the max mag is min mag is -1, so it was 0. So our magnitude is just really, really damn small. Probably because the radius is too damn small on these things. Let me take a look at that. He took it out. What? Alright, so I put a radius of 10 in here. So radius of 10 is going to be just trash, I believe. Because that's in world space radius. So let's put a... No, that's a magnitude. Whoops. We have a radius of 1,000. Alright, that looks like we've got a whole crosshatch going on. Yeah, something's real wrong with this whole thing. So let's see. So we have wavelength, and wavelength is supposed to be set to the radius. That's going to be like 1,000 or something else, right? So we have half wave is new pause plus half wave, tail, new pause plus that. Direction times 0.5 times wavelength. That should be half the wave. Let's just set the magnitude to 1 for everything and see if, regardless, this thing is doing what it should. They're both horrifying. Yeah, it was pretty funny one time. And the one time I was in Japan, it was like some high school homestay thing. So I was like 17. We had a whole bunch of people that did this thing. So maybe I think it was maybe like 10 or 20 high school students, and kind of we went over as a group, and each one of us stayed with our different families. But there were a few times where we all got together to go do stuff as a group or whatever. Alright, so we are drawing a whole line here for this entire thing, but we are obviously not we're obviously not computing any of this crap properly for any of it. That's pretty cool looking, even though it's complete bullshit and wrong. Obviously our line drawing algorithms are just trash. But one of the things we all got to do together was go to Akihabara. And of course, it's a whole bunch of teenagers in a foreign country doing, laser tag water. It's true. So, I mean, of course, what do you think they're going to do in Electric City, right? Yeah, we're going to go visit all the porn shops because that's what we're all 17-year-old and we lost our chaperones for a day. So that's what we're doing. And I remember we were in these porn shops looking at all this random shit, right? Because it's Japan, so it's weird, fucked up crap. But one of the girls there wanted to find a whole bunch of gay porn. So, and of course, we didn't know Japanese very well, so we're trying to ask people in these shops. We're just for different types of stuff, and we couldn't communicate it, and it was and this guy's trying to do his job, just to try to show you what you're trying to look for. So this, he's just is this what you're looking for? Is this what you're looking for? He's like, what the fuck? You're a bunch of tourists. Jesus, aren't you gonna just buy something? God, just handing us stuff. He's just well, buy it. You guys are idiots. So it was pretty funny. At least I thought it was. Yeah, that's pretty much how it went, exactly like that. It was it was really funny. They have a very different they have a very different culture and all that stuff. Alright, so let's break this down a little bit. Which thing is actually getting it screwed up? It's gonna be, is it the sign or is it the other stuff? This is in integer units. I divided by length is probably gonna be trash, isn't it? Because it's an int divided by an int, so it's just gonna be like total fucking bullshit. So maybe we're just getting some integer division lost precision. Which, I don't know if anybody here knows about Charles Barkley's Shut Up and Jam Gaiden, but I think one of the funniest things is they have like a body pillow for one of their characters that's just like the ugliest character in the entire game. It's just like, why would you have that as a Kickstarter reward? No, the inverse stuff isn't working either? Oh, it's not going to work because this magnitude stuff is going to go like... It's going to be 0, so I'd have to like... The only way I could have it fade out is by having more values. Alright, so it's probably this sign bullshit that's not working properly. And I think that's going to be because of integer stuff going on here. So I divided by len, so let's just do the float len here. Yeah, that game was awesome in many ways and awful in others. Well, they've been working on the sequel for Charles Barkley's Shut Up and Jam Gaiden for a very long goddamn time. I've been waiting for that game to come out for 8 years, I think. I mean, they're still working on it in like Game Maker or something else. Like during that time, their like whole plan for shipping the game should have been like go to college, learn how to program, and then build the game. And I think they would have gotten it done faster than their current plan. That should be like in their Kickstarter. It'll be like, I'm going to build this game. And it's like, okay, what's your plan? It'd be like, first step, we're gonna go to college. It's like risks. Lots of risks in college. Alright, so we're going from... Okay, so maybe it was just that. So we're going from... It looks like it's going from -1 to 0 to 1 to 0. Which is, that's our wave right there. It goes from 0 to 1 to 0 to -1 to... So yes, this is drawing correctly on our wave, I believe. Of course, our line drawing algorithm is obviously horseshit right here and not worked properly, so I need to figure out why that is. So let's fix one at a time. It's going to be, so we're going to go from, our x is obviously correct. I mean, our x's and our y's aren't changing. It looks like everything has a slope of one way, like the x goes across and the y doesn't change whatsoever, which is our problem. So it's that our x is correct, our y is wrong. Why is our y wrong? Our slope is, our slope is sy minus ey divided by sx minus ex. Well, supposedly this is what it's supposed to be. Let's just print it out. I think my favorite thing that was spawned from that game is definitely that website. It just is amazing. It's just amazing. Alright, looks like the slope is a grand total of 0 for everything. So why in the hell is the slope 0? These are integers, you dumbass. That's why. This is all integer division. I wish there was some kind of warning, like the integer division stuff. That would be nice. Though I guess there'd be warnings everywhere for that crap. Could probably turn on a different warning level or something. Oh wow. Well, so we have some things looking proper here, and we have other things that are not looking proper whatsoever. So this is going to be if looks like if this we have the wrong slope for one of these things. We have the slope that's wrong. It looked like if we had 4 quadrants there, the quadrants that were correct were where the slope was greater than was greater than 1. There's something wrong here with our absolute values or something else. So we're like, do we need to multiply by direction or some bullshit? Is it I times direction in here? So I'll put this back up. We'll see if that was correct. Yeah, there we go. So that's our debug drawing. This is what, 200 particles? Alright, I think we should actually set a maximum and minimum magnitude on our object that gets passed in for waves. I mean, we could just hard code it as well. Why don't we kind of hard code it? So this will be like float min mag. Let's just do max wave amplitude, and we'll just have it go from positive to negative. So let's take these things out. So we've got all of our magnitudes and all that bullshit. We're gonna have to set it. So if max wave amplitude equals 0, or is less than or equal to 0, then we're just gonna set it to 1. What the hell is that? That is a radio, an internet radio station that only plays remixes of Space Jam with other music. So no, what the fuck? Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things that why all the basketballs? Well, because of Charles Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden. It's about charging up the chaos dunk and destroying the universe or something. It's one of those things. I mean, if you don't understand it, Lucas, then I just can't explain it to you. I mean, you can't really explain Charles Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden. It's something that you have to experience yourself. It's one of those things. The fuck? What kind of pattern is that? Alright, let's change our water object so we actually have the water max wave magnitude. Let's compile that. We'll set it to 10. Should go from 0 to 100, I think. And what I'm going to do is pass this into set map basic info, something like that. I guess we don't actually want to have a tick of 0 not do anything. How in the hell are we getting purple values? We're getting purple values probably because of blending of textures, so we shouldn't be using doing this. What we should be doing is we should be going from 0. It should go from 0. It should go from -1 to 1 inside of the number space. So it should go red to black, with 0 being 0.5. Otherwise our textures are gonna get all fucked up. Yes, we've made the eye material, the dynamic eye. Alright, so for us to map this, it's going to be 2.0f times the max magnitude. We are going to divide the current magnitude minus the current magnitude of this thing divided by this value. We're going to add max magnitude to it. Alright, so if we add max magnitude, we go from -10 to 10 to 0 to 20, and then we divide by 20 and it's going to go from 0 to 1. And then we multiply by 255 and we go from 0 to 255 with 127 or whatever the hell being our value. So we should see everything be red, kind of reddish, and then it'll go from, we'll see it go negative at 0 and positive at 1. So we shouldn't see any purple, because I think purple was stuff that had just bad values because of texture stuff, because there never should have been any pixel that was both red and blue. So we got to remember that if you use a differently sized texture, then the texture blending, different texture channels Oh man, we got red water now. Does it look proper? I mean, not really. Yeah, well, actually, it probably is. We probably just don't have enough particles to fill up the area that we want, and it's blending in zeros. It's blending in values. So, God, what do we want? What do we want to do with this? It is a sea of blood. We need more particles for something of this size. Let's just make it a much smaller ripple. Alright, so how are we getting the wavelength? Alright, so we have the radius, we have the magnitude, lifetime. The wavelength is the radius? No, we need the wavelength to be a different value. Let's also have int32 particles. Let's just throw that in there. So we'll compile that out and we'll see what we can do with it. what's probably happening is that magnitude right is pretty screwed up. It's making it so we're adding in ones and zeros and other things into pixels, and it's going to cause a bunch of noisy garbage. What we should be doing is probably taking the maximum value that was written by this current wave, and we're going to need to do that whole update with the wave stuff so I can actually write to it properly. Yeah, it's all too damn noisy. Hmm. Let's blur that out? I don't know what you're talking about. It's a dynamic thing. If we're going to be blurring stuff, that's going to be a pretty expensive operation. Alright, so the wavelength was too short, and as a result of it being too short, yeah, you can see the noise that's coming in with all these particles trying to overwrite each other. That's what's going on. Because only when the particles actually spread out to the right radius where they would ideally be created do we actually see the wave. And that has to do with just its random noise because of the calculations that are involved. Why is it flickering black? Is that just something else going on? With our max magnitude and min magnitude getting all fucked up? It's probably a wraparound error. Let's go to our floater object. What do I have? Like 1,000. So I should be able to drop a fat sack in there and have them float around and make more ripples. It could definitely work. It could definitely work. Maybe it is blood, yeah. Alright, I will be right back, and then what I'm going to need to do is implement some of the writing stuff in here so that this stuff works properly. Let's make sure I didn't screw up this. The game is taking a whole new direction, and the jump looks weirdly cool. See, what we're actually doing is we're going to make this game into... It's basically going to be a Doom clone with the characters of Brackenwood. You like the ripples? Yeah, well, we're working on it. Getting the those are dynamic ripples that we're putting in there. And I'm slowly getting them working, and then we'll have them like reflect off of the rocks and stuff like that. Because right now they're just the particles that are getting written are interfering with the wave is interfering with itself due to mathematical imprecision with stuff. So when we fix that, the standing waves will look proper, and then when we get the reflections in there, then we're pretty much done with our simulation of our waves. We then have to go figure out what effect we want to use to actually draw the waves into the world. One of the things I'm curious about is if the waves, how the interaction with the shore needs to work. And I was seeing the black flickering. I'm trying to make sure that the black flickering is gone. Looks like it is. I'll just jam on this a little bit though, just to make sure. Alright, cool. Well, I will be right back, and then I will start working on making the waves not interfere with themselves. Yeah, Lucas, we'll see. Gotta make the game before it could be game of the year. So I'm trying to think about these ripples as they interfere with each other. Let me see, what is going on here? Particles are adding together. So what's going to happen because they're adding together, the values are going to get higher. You want to spread. Oh man. Well, that's valuable for something. So we have all these particles, we're adding all the values together for the magnitude, which is what's happening. So we're getting a higher wave front, and we would never get a lower one. So what we want to do, I think, is take the highest value from this current wave that gets written, and we want to take the absolute value of that. So we need to write the waves in order, check the last written two, and if it's the same, then we take the absolute value, otherwise we add it in there. Shit, it's not gonna work, is it? Because we don't know if the value that was written in there is the right value or not. I guess we could take the first written value. I mean, that's the only option we would have. What would that do? It would at least make it consistent, right? Because that particle would always overwrite that area properly, and it should be close enough. So I guess it's just, if it's written, don't write it again. Because we can't do the other operations, we don't magically have those things. We'd have to like iterate over all of them again. Alright, so what do I need? These particles are all out of order. I need to update the particles actually in order, so I need some sort of ordering mechanism that I can support. Would it be better just to have these T arrays be dynamic for each thing that we allocate? Or would it be better to have this garbage that we have currently? It's probably better just to have a T array per. So we're just allocating stuff once, than it is to have this dynamically growing pointer array off into other memory. Well, it's not a dynamically growing pointer array, but we'd still have to go snag it. Alright, so we need to change the data structure and all that for this. So we're going to turn these, instead of having a wave particles array, we're going to have a T array of T arrays, basically. So we're going to want a structure here for this, which is going to be struct wave object. We are going to have an int32m wave ID and a T array of wave particles. So I'll have waves spawn like this instead.